We're a multi-generational household, so I had to think about my teenage son and an older mum and little dog as well. So we had to think about everybody's needs and making sure that it worked for everybody. But so far it really has. It's been rewarding for all of us in quite different ways, and that's amazing. Hi, I'm Anna, and we've been hosting for Nightstop for about 6 months.
Hi, my name's Josh, and this is my dog Leo.
Initially, a member of staff from Nightstop came to visit our community and gave a talk about Nightstop and about hosting, and immediately I thought, oh, that's really interesting, that's something that we could do, but it took a little while to think about it. And I was watching a film at the cinema a few months later, and there was a line in which somebody was asked why he was planning to do something, and the answer given was, I can and therefore I must. And it sort of inspired me to think about the fact that we decided that this was something we could do, but now we had to get on with actually doing it. And so we took the plunge and started the process of being assessed. As we've started hosting young people, I think the most rewarding part is that you get to know them. So I initially thought that maybe you'd have somebody come for 1 or 2 nights and you wouldn't see them again, but actually it works better if you get to build a rapport and they come back a few times. So we've hosted a number of young people where they've come a couple of nights a week for several weeks or for a couple of months, and getting to know them and hearing about what they're up to and what they're doing with Nightstop and with other organisations to kind of think about moving on and next steps. It's just been really inspiring. It's been really fun to hang out with them, but also really nice to be part of that little part of their journey.
Meeting young people has been very good for me because it's meeting different age teenagers, and we play video games and we can't really stop playing video games until I go to bed. So it's been a pleasure and a joy to see new people come into our lives for a couple of days.
When we first started looking into being hosts, we were obviously a bit nervous about the idea. It's taking somebody you don't know into your home, and that's always a bit nerve-wracking. We've found that Nightstop have been really supportive. They are really respectful of your boundaries, so you only have to host when you're available. Initially, you'll be told a little bit about the person coming before they arrive, and then if you have any concerns as you go along, or things are said that you think, oh, I'm a bit worried about this in person, but I don't know what to do about it, you can always talk to the key workers at Nightstop and get their advice, or make sure that somebody is supporting that young person.
My favourite thing about hosting was just probably talking to them and just interacting and learning more about their backstory and talking about funny things. There was a couple of times when there was some funny moments and me and the person couldn't stop laughing, and it was just fun because it made me smile at the same time as them making them smile. So it was a good bond, I guess.
I think most people think about homelessness as people living on the street, and we know that it's more complicated than that, but that's just your go-to, is what you think about. So when we encountered Nightstop and we understood that they were supporting young people who, for the most part, were at risk of becoming homeless, or were homeless in the sense that they were sofa surfing or trying to stay with people, or had no home security, it really sort of changed our understanding of homelessness and the impact that homelessness has on people, and also the reasons people become homeless. And although you don't always find out that much about the young people because it's their story, it's private to them, sometimes they do share, and it just sort of opens your eyes to realise how much more common homelessness is than you imagine, and how much easier it is for it to happen to somebody, that it's not always these sort of bleak extreme circumstances that are presented in the media or in film. So it's really helped us learn a lot.
Being part of a hosting family has changed my life a lot, because I always thought that being homeless was a bad thing because they've done the wrong things. But then when I had the first person come, it changed my perspective and my viewpoint of them. And just because some people are homeless, they might always be good people, so don't always think that they're the bad people.
I would 100% recommend hosting for Nightstop to anybody that has a spare room in their house that's not always being used by guests, and has the time to make it work. It can be difficult to fit it into busy family life when in the evenings there are sports activities and things going on, but Nightstop is so flexible and allow you to be available when you can be available, and so if you can fit it in and you can make it work for you, it's so rewarding. And I think particularly if you've got children, young children or teenagers, they learn so much from it, and it broadens their horizons and exposes them to people from different walks of life and different stories, and just really helps them in terms of their maturity and understanding of the world.
If you are considering hosting, I would definitely take the opportunity to do it because you can always not like help them and ask them more about it, but you can always like be nice to them and just respect them instead of rushing and trying to force an answer out of them. They always need to take their time, so if needs to be, just let them take their time and just have fun with them basically.
Can I chip in?
Yeah, absolutely.
And say that if you're thinking about hosting and you've got children, it took us a little while because Josh was a little bit nervous at first about the idea of strangers coming into our home, and so we put a little pause on and did a bit of extra work to understand what it entailed, and Nightstop supported us really well. They arranged for Josh to meet with another teenager whose family hosts and just to hear a bit more about it from a young person's perspective, so that was really helpful. I think talking to hosts that are hosts now, or maybe with similar age kids, is really helpful because you get a real idea of what it entails, and it's not anywhere near as scary as it sounds.
Yeah, that's great.